Welcome to Tuesday with Terry, the podcast for getting your mind, business, and life in shape. Hosted by Terry Blachek, one of the original area developers for Orange Theory Fitness, who helped launch the brand from the very beginning. He'll use his years of experience to help you shape up your mind, build strong relationships with your teams, revamp your business processes, and set down the path towards success in all aspects of your life.
Good afternoon. My name's Terry. Welcome to another podcast. I hope that you're having a fantastic new year. We're into week number 2 of the new year, and I wanted to remind you, this episode actually follows up with some of the things that I talked about last week. So if you haven't heard that one, you might want to go back and listen to that one. It's short. It's about 13 minutes, not too long. But again, talking to you live from Austin, Texas, where the sun is hot, the barbecue is sweet, and all the drinks are free over here. Come on over. We'd love to have you. Last week, we talked a little bit about being the architect of your life and doing the things that you want instead of being tied up doing the things that you have to. And I wanted to follow up on that because a lot of that has to do with your dreams. And I don't know if you were ever, when you were a kid like I was, you probably, dressed up and I always used to take a towel and I'd tie a towel around my neck and use it as a cape, and I pretend I was Batman or I pretended I was Superman and run around the house or run outside, me and my younger brother. But you always have dreams about who you're going to become. Maybe you wanted to be a fireman when you were a young boy, or maybe you wanted to be an astronaut, or maybe you wanted to be a doctor. I can remember, maybe you wanted to be a teacher. Maybe you wanted to be a missionary. I don't know. I remember my daughter when she was younger, she was going to be wanted to be a teacher, and then that turned into a doctor. Now she's a veterinarian, and sure enough, she's living her dream. And I told her that not too long ago. I said, do you realize that the dreams that you had when you were younger in middle school and in high school, you're actually living your dream? And it's not just something out there that you hope for or that you wish for, but you're really living your dream. How cool is that when you think about things and you actually turn them into reality? You're living a dream. You need to write down your goals. And what we find out is so many people have dreams and goals and desires, but they never actually turn them into reality. And part of turning something into reality, an idea, is to actually get it down on paper. 80% of people don't write their goals down. They don't put them down on a piece of paper. I know I've told you this story before about Yale University. They took the graduating senior class and they did a study, and they found out that only 3% had their goals written down. And they went back 20 years later and they found out that the 3% of the graduates that had written their goals down, they had actually accomplished more financially than the entire 97% the rest of the class. Only about 16% of people have goals, and they still don't write them down. There's about 4%, 3 or 4% that do write them down, and then only 1%, or really less than 1%, after they write them down, even go back to review them. Isn't that amazing? I can't stress the importance of writing your goals, your dreams, your desires down. I try to create time capsules, and I've done this for my staff. I take and have them write down where they're going to be a year from now, or some of their goals and dreams and desires a year from now. And what I have them do is I have them write them down, put them in an envelope. I call it a time capsule. I seal the envelope, and a year later, I give them that envelope back, and they open it up. And they say, where was I a year ago? What did I want to see happen a year ago? Maybe you want to do that for yourself. You just can't have one-dimensional goals, by the way. So a lot of times people say, well, my goal is to make X amount of dollars. That's one-dimensional. You see, if you only have a one-dimensional goal about part of your life, that's like rowing a boat with one oar, and you just spin around in a circle and spin around in a circle and spin around in a circle. You've heard me speak. I hope you have. It was probably one of my first podcasts about the circle of life and the wheel of life and taking a piece of paper and drawing a circle on it and splitting it up into 8 or 12 different parts and writing down all the pieces of your life, your health, your finances, your family, your career, your education, your romance, your soul, your adventure, your relationships, your charitable groups that you want to work with, all the different pieces of your life. But when you start making goals for yourself this year in 2022, you want to look at yourself as a whole person, not just one-dimensional. So maybe you say, well, I'm going to go get that job this year, or I'm going to write the book this year. That's one-dimensional. You need to take your goal setting and make it multi-dimensional around your life. You know, you cannot hit a target that you do not have. You got to write these things down. You know, I don't know how many of you went to a restaurant over the holidays. I did. But when I walk into a restaurant, I just don't walk into a restaurant and say, I want some food. I'd like to get some food. I get really specific. And I say, well, you know, I'd like to have this to drink. And I'd like to have those appetizers. And I pick it out, you know, the spicy shrimp. I pick a little bit of tuna tartare. You know, I like that stuff. I get a wedge salad with that blue cheese dressing and bacon dripping right out. It's good, man. That is good. And then I get a ribeye steak. You know, I like a good ribeye steak. I get specific. And I love, ask my wife, she'll tell you this, I love to look at the dessert menu. Whether I get it or not, I love to look at it. All I'm saying is your goals are very similar to that, is you got to be specific when you start putting down your goals. Don't just say, I want to be a millionaire. Don't just say, I want to be a doctor. Don't just say, I want to have a better relationship. But we've got to get specific and detailed in some of those goals. It's also important to think big. You know, most of us don't think big enough. And you got to get those blinders off. You know, many times you ever see those, you go to watch the horse races. If you've ever watched the Kentucky Derby or the Preakness, you see those horses racing and they got those blinders on their eyes, right? And what I'm telling you is you got a very narrow focus. And what I'm telling you, you're not seeing the whole picture with those blinders. You got to take the blinders off. You got to open it up and you got to start thinking bigger. And I forget who made this quote, but there's a quote out there that says, you know, most people don't aim too high and miss. They aim too low and they actually hit it. You know, people are afraid of failing. They're afraid of trying something and it might not work out. But let me ask you this question. What is it that you would attempt to do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do? You know, if you asked me that question, I would have told you I probably would have become an actor. I always love to talk and act and pretend, and I think I might have done pretty good at it, but I just never took a shot at it, probably because I thought I couldn't do it. Thought it was never in the cards for me. But if I could go back and replay some things, I'd say, you know what, maybe I would do it anyway. Maybe I'd give it a shot and see if I could. You're just not thinking big enough. If I haven't told you the story of Kyle McDonald, you'll want to hear this one. You see, Kyle McDonald took a paperclip and he posted it on Craigslist and he said, I'd like to trade this paperclip for something better. And it wasn't too long. He was on Craigslist and somebody traded him a pen, or just a regular old pen. So he took the paperclip and he turned it into a pen. And he started very small, but he kept asking. And then he traded the paperclip and he turned that into something bigger and something bigger and something bigger until finally he was able to trade for a 3-bedroom house. True story. He turned a paperclip into a 3-bedroom house. And so many times I'm telling you that you look at the paperclip and you say, that's my life, and this is all it is, and this is all I've got, and this is, you know, all about me. And the reality is that paperclip is much more than just a paperclip. You're much more than that. You're worth more. You've got to start thinking big. Give yourself permission to try. If it doesn't work out, so what? Who cares? It didn't work out. People that are great, people that are famous, people that have done great things in their life have tried and tried and failed and tried and failed. right? If I told you how many times I've failed at things, you'd be surprised. And remember, you need to get surrounded with people that believe in you, that believe in your goals, that support you, encourage you, and motivate you to go after things. Right now, take out a piece of paper. Write down 5 people that believe in you and will support you in an endeavor or in a goal that you want to achieve. 5 people. You know 5 people. I know you do. Write their names down. And you need to go and talk to them about what your goals are and ask them if they will support you and, encourage you as you go through this. If you have big goals, you tell people about it so that they can support you. And then they ask you about it, and it keeps you focused on those goals. Oprah, as a matter of fact, Oprah said this: one of the best things that she ever did was surrounding herself with friends. And instead of her friends asking her why she was doing something, her friends asked her, why not? Why not you? And that attitude becomes contagious. It's crazy how that happens. What have you been procrastinating on? Take that same piece of paper you just wrote your 5 friends that would support you, and I want you to write 5 things that you have been procrastinating on. Have you been procrastinating already in the new year on doing something that you set a New Year's resolution, and today is January the 11th? Have you done it? Have you procrastinated on getting started? Have you procrastinated on making the phone call? Have you procrastinated on exercise? Have you procrastinated on getting rid of a bad habit? Are you procrastinating on eating the right foods? Are you procrastinating on making amends? You're a week into the new year. You're 10 days into the new year. It's time to take action and stop procrastinating. And so in summary, what am I really saying today? Remember last week we talked about your values. We talked about what was important to you. And today we're talking about writing some goals down on paper. We're talking about thinking big, expanding your horizons, and thinking about the people in your life. What you're doing is you're setting yourself up for success. We're not there yet. We haven't gotten into the actual goal setting. But what I'm doing is I'm taking you through a process that says, number 1, what's important to me? That was last week. Today is I need goals, but I need people around me that can support me in those goals. And I've probably been procrastinating on some things. I'm getting your mind working. I'm getting you thinking about things. Next week, we really start putting action plans together on how to set those goals and what do those goals look like. Don't put it off another day. My name's Terry. I'm your friend. Have a wonderful day.